What if remotely operated autonomous drone flight didn't require special approvals? How would that impact stakeholders around the world? Take utilities, for example. What if every utility company could rely on remotely operated autonomous drones to monitor their infrastructure? Would we have less power outages? And when outages are out of our control, like in the winter storms that hit Texas this year, would drones be able to help get the power back on faster, saving lives, keeping the community safe? Our answer is clear. With autonomous drones at utilities, refineries, solar farms, and more, the future is more efficient, greener, and safer. But to get to that future, we need to overcome regulatory hurdles. The requirement for either a pilot or observer to be on site for each drone flight significantly limits the value and availability of the technology. Let's go back to the utility example. With each flight dependent on a licensed drone pilot, a company would need a full team of operators to enable 24/7 operations. By removing the need, that same company could inspect its infrastructure every day with a remotely operated on-site drone-in-a-box solution. They can also respond immediately when outages do happen without waiting for a pilot to show up. This is even more critical when an area is impassable and drones are the only team member that can safely inspect power lines to get the power back up faster. So, from a technological standpoint, remote drone flight without human intervention is here. On-site drone-in-a-box solutions remove the need for a pilot to inspect, launch, navigate, and land a drone. The technology has also proven itself in the field, like when autonomous drones were dispatched remotely to the Big Holo wildfires to safely ensure Verizon's network was intact. Yet, for the most part, regulators don't allow remote drone operations without human involvement. This comes for good reason. Regulators around the world have similar concerns for the safety of people on the ground and manned aircraft. In different regions, there are slightly different safety concerns to mitigate. Each regulator manages air and ground risks differently. So, to truly understand the nuances of BVLOS regulation around the world, you have to understand the nuanced concerns regulators have. Take the US, for example. The airspace is complex. The FAA approves complex operations on a case-by-case basis. While this is the safest way to regulate BVLOS flight, it's also a bottleneck for the industry. In Australia, CASA has defined about 90% of Australia as very low population density and negligible air activity, allowing for the approval of more BVLOS operations. In Europe, EASA started defining standard scenarios across member states where drone operators are allowed to send a declaration to their respective authority instead of applying and waiting for an authorization. So, when can we expect remotely operated autonomous drone flights without special approvals? Here's the good news. It's not that far off. In Australia, the regulator is working to enable BVLOS operations throughout the continent. They hope to achieve this with a combination of a UTM system, a drone detection network, and safety procedures. In the US, by the end of this year, the BVLOS Aviation Rulemaking Committee, made out of leading lawmakers, stakeholders, and drone manufacturers, will make their recommendations to the FAA for a new BVLOS rule. We anticipate that this rule will be implemented in the next 3 years. Once implemented, the clear-cut BVLOS rule will allow stakeholders to leverage 24/7 operations without a team of operators and without applying for a case-by-case approval. If I can leave you with one message, it's this. Remotely operated autonomous drone-in-a-box technology is here, and thanks to global regulator and stakeholder cooperation, we'll see the technology implemented at scale for a more efficient, greener, and safer future.